the ocean on both sides of the road. On the left side there that you're looking at, that's the Atlantic Ocean, over on the left. Over on the right is the Gulf. That's the Gulf of Mexico. So, you know, we're in between two oceans here. Hey, Seamless Notary family, this is your girl, Sweet Pea. All right, this is your notary queen once more with Seamless Notary. Thank you so much for joining me again. It's been a while since I made a video. All right, it's been a while, but I promise I'm gonna be more consistent. But I'm so busy doing so many closings. Now I'm in the Keys. I'm in Ala Marada right now. Just let me show you something here. If you see this sign here, I don't know if you can see it. Oh my goodness. All right. But anyway, yeah, I'm trying to see if I can let you see it, but it seems like you're not able to see it. But anyway, I'm here in the Keys again, this time in Layton, which is about maybe 20 minutes from here. So from my home, I drove an hour and 20 minutes, which is not bad. You know, that's what I do on a regular basis because they do pay me to come here, as I always say. So I'm here today for this closing. Of course, these people are on vacation. You know, this is a vacation spot. You know, not many notaries are here, and that is the reason why I come here a lot, because it's very hard for them to find people to work here. So they usually pay me good to come here. So of course, why not come? Why not come? Let me take my glasses off a little bit here so you can see my face. All right, so so these people are on vacation and they're closing on a home in Tennessee. So of course, I'm the notary. It was supposed to be at 8 o'clock, but of course they're so excited to get this out of the way. So we're able to start at 7:30 and by 8:12 we were done. So I wrap this up pretty quickly. This is a closing through BankServe. So, you know, I love working with BankServe. If you can get on with BankServe, that's one of the best companies that you can work with. You know, nobody on your back calling you every 5 or 10 minutes, asking you where are the scans, have you leave your home yet, like some of these signing services. You know, BankServe is a great title company to work with, but they do act like a signing service. So if you can get on with them, please do. But remember, if you are a real estate agent, then of course they won't hire you because it's a conflict of interest for them, and they won't hire any real estate agents. Now back to what I was saying, I come here a lot in the Keys, and I just stopped by this beautiful park here. You know, it's not really a park, but I don't know what they call it. It's Annie's Beach Park. Yes, I was right. They open from sunrise to sunset, so you can just come here, you can chill, you can just take a walk and just enjoy the scenery. It's beautiful. That's my car. And if you can see vehicles passing by on the side of the road there. But I just stopped by to share a little story with you guys. All right, I'm gonna share a little story with you about an incident that I had recently. And this incident is regarding a specific signing service. Of course, I will not call their names because I will not do that. But I do not work with them a lot. And the reason for me not working with them a lot is because they lowball a lot, you know. And I don't mind taking a closing, you know, that's not what I'm used to. But I'm not going to be driving an hour and a half, 2 hours one way for $85. I'm not doing that, you know. I know what I'm worth. I know my value. And I know the kind of work that I do. I'm not one to toot my own horn, but I'm damn good at what I do. All right. I do flawless signings. I'm not saying I don't make mistakes at times, you know, when I just started. But I've mastered my craft over the last 7 years, you know, so I'm good at what I do. So I'm not gonna drive 3 hours round trip for $85. It just does not make financial sense. Because of that, I don't work with these companies a lot, but about 2 weeks ago, I got a closing from them, and come to find out, this closing was an estate planning closing. If you know what that is, of course, pretty sure most people know. At the time when I got the closing, they called me, and of course we went through it, and they were usually I don't talk about how much I get for my signings, but today, I don't care. I'm gonna say at that time they were offering me $535 for this closing. I took it. It was 30 minutes from my home. Great money. Even if I get a closing straight from title, I'm not gonna get that for just one closing. So of course, we went over the package, went over the information. I was to provide 2 witnesses, which is awesome, because that's still gonna leave me with some good money for the closing. Now, about 2 days after I got the closing, they called me and said, okay, Paulette, I know we agreed on this amount of money. However, the amount of documents that we were anticipating, it's less than that. So we're going to have to reduce the price. I said, no problem. They said, we're going to reduce this to $400. Is that okay with you? I said, okay, that's fine. 400 is still a good money, even if I have to pay 2 witnesses. It's still good. I still wouldn't be getting that from a title company for one closing. So I said, okay, that's fine. Now, I went to the closing. Before I went, of course, everything was already confirmed with the signers, 2 signers, confirmed on the day of closing, with my witnesses that they will be there. Of course, they will be. So, of course, I went to the signing. When I got the documents, it was about 289 pages, to be exact. Went through everything, and I went to the closing. It took me about approximately an hour to complete the closing, because it's estate planning. So of course there was one set of document for the lady, there was another set of document for the gentleman, and it was a beautiful young couple. They were in their 30s, but they were trying to put their life together on paper, so that God forbid anything happens to either of them, then each one knows exactly what to do. So it took them some time to go through the documents. They were reading, so of course it took us about an hour to complete everything. Now, once we were done with this signing service, you do have to have a portable scanner in your car with you all the time. But for this one, you have to scan the documents right there, submit them for approval. Not only approval from the signing service, but you also have to ensure that you get approval from the lender as well before you can leave the venue. So of course, did the scan backs, very confident that everything went well. As I said before, I know I do a good job of, at these signings, because I'm very meticulous, and I make sure I read, I take my time and make sure everything is done properly before I even submit a scan. And I double check my scan. So I was very confident that everything was great. Already packed away my scanner, packed away my laptop and everything, just waiting for the approval. I got back the approval from the signing service pretty quickly, which was, awesome. In about 5 minutes, they responded and said, oh, the scans look great, but I still have to wait for final approval from the lender. Of course, I waited about 15 to 20 minutes, and of course they came back and they said everything looks great, everything looks wonderful. I can now leave the venue, of which I did. Of course, my witnesses, they were tired, they left their home pretty early. And of course, we also have to accommodate the signer by adjusting the time for them. We were supposed to be there at 11, but something came up with them, their kids, the family, life happens. So they wanted us to come at 11 o'clock in the morning instead of the scheduled time, which was 2 o'clock. And sorry for me doing my hair like this, but it's kind of long windy, making my hair look crazy. But anyway, my witnesses were willing to come early early. So they came early and we accommodated her. So of course I decided I'm going to take them out for lunch, which I think was a good gesture. Yes, guys, so as I was saying, I took my witnesses out to lunch. They said they wanted Chipotle. So of course, Chipotle is not expensive, so I took them. We're on our way to Chipotle when I saw the sign-in service calling me. I'm like, why are they calling me? They already told me everything was fine. Maybe I missed something that, and maybe they missed it before they told me it was okay. So of course I responded. I answered the call, and there the lady on the other end said to me, "Hi Paulette, thank you so much. Thank you for everything and for doing this for us, but I know we mentioned that we were going to pay you $400, but we realized that the pages were far less than what we anticipated, so we're gonna have to reduce the price." So I said, okay. So she said, there's a way that we calculate how much we pay on these signings, and she started telling me about point this and point that times how many pages, and she was just going through and doing her calculations, and she was like, oh, we're gonna pay $50 for the witness, another $50 for the other witness, and then yours is gonna be to this times that, it's gonna be yours, and then the most we can pay out here is $330. Are you okay with that? I said, nope, with a straight face. I said, no. And she said, oh, but you understand the pages weren't as many as we thought they would be, and so that's the reason why we have to reduce the price. I said, no. I said, oh, I don't care. I said, listen, when I accepted this closing, all right, you gave me this closing. We agreed on $535. You came back 2 days later and you told me that the pages are not what you were anticipating, so you were going to reduce the price for $400. I said, fine. We already have a reduction. We agreed on $400. Now, before these pages were uploaded to the portal for me to print them, you know exactly how many pages they were. All right, why didn't you call me then and said, Paulette, okay, the pages are still far less, we can only pay you $330. Would you agree to take or to accept that amount? Give me the option to decide whether or not I want to do it. Maybe I would have said yes, who knows, because $300 I probably would have still take it, but you didn't. All right, you didn't do that. You let it remain where it was. So at this point, the amount that we agreed upon is $400. You're not gonna go back and change my price after the fact. I even accommodate the signers by changing the time. My two witnesses have to adjust their time. They have families too, to come earlier to accommodate all this closing, and now you want me to give my witnesses less money because you decided at the last minute that you were going to drop my price because the pages are not what you anticipated simply after the fact? No. I said no. This is not what we agreed upon, and I will not accept anything less than the agreed price, $400. And she went on and she was rolling and she was still coming back with her calculations. I said, listen to me, ma'am. I hear exactly what you're saying. And I don't understand your calculation, and I do not want to understand. The only thing I want to know at this point, I did a good job. You said everything was flawless. The scans were approved. Everything looked perfect. And the only thing I want is a perfect $400. That's all I want. All right. She said, okay, I'll just let the accountant know. I said, do what you have to do, baby. But the only thing you want to make sure that when I get that ACH payment in my bank account, it says $400. All right. So of course she hung up. But the reason why I'm doing this video is just to let you guys know that you are going to experience a lot of things. You're going to meet up on a lot of very different situations in this notary signing agent space. But get what? I know my value. I know my worth. I know the job I did, and I know I do a damn good job. If you want to drop my price, drop my price before I do the job. You're not going to reduce my price after the fact. You can imagine if they had given me a job to do for $100, and then I got the documents and realized it was 300 pages, and before going to the signing, I didn't call them. I complained to myself. I did the signing, and after the fact, after I finish the closing and drop the documents, I'm going to call the signing service and let them know, oh, it was a lot of documents, so I need more money. Do you think they would have listened to me? Not one person would have responded to my email. Or if they pick up, they would have told me no. So you can't come back and try to reduce my price after the fact. No, I know my value, I know my worth. And you need to know your value. You need to know your worth as well. All right? You need to know that you're going to come across a lot of situations. You're going to come across various situations. All right? Now, saying that to say this, the notary signing agent space is awesome. It's a beautiful place to be. You work on your own time. You set your own schedule. See, look where I'm here now. I'm right here. I just did a closing. I can do what I want. I have another closing, but I have time. I can go home. I can chill. I can walk the park. I can do what I do and then go to my next closing. A 9 to 5 won't allow me this kind of flexibility. So if you're looking into doing that, you can still do it. It's good money. I'm not telling you that you're going to make the same kind of money that we made back, 3 years ago or 2 years ago when the rate was really low. But you can still make good money, much more than a 9 to 5 would pay you at this point. All right. So if you're looking to get in, just make sure you do what you have to do. Know your notary laws. That's very important. Know how to do your acknowledgement. Take the courses that you need to do. Just go out in faith. Don't be scared, because you know more than the signers do. All right, you don't have to explain all these documents. That's not your job. You're not an attorney. Your job there is to verify, identify, and also to make sure you can notarize those documents. That's all you do to do. All right, that's all you are there to do. All right. So once again, I'm your girl Paulette, your notary queen with Seamless Notary. Come back for more useful tips that I have here, and you enjoy your day. Cheers and peace out.